Hello, everyone.
What goes on? What goes on?
Welcome to another week of. I like how it's just.
There I am.
Right. Welcome to another week of Super Chat 64. Alex and I are finally reunited after my week hiatus.
Together at last.
Right. It wasn't even really hiatus. I mean, we still did stream.
We did it with my shitty internet.
So with Alex's shitty internet,
which is still shitty, mind you.
Yeah. So forewarn, if we cut out, we'll probably be back. It's just Alex's internet is going going through a phase. A phase, yeah.
It's just a phase.
It's going through an emo phase. It keeps cutting itself.
Oh,
so.
God. Yeah, it's a continuing issue. It's like I was telling Justin, it hasn't gotten worse, so I guess that's an improvement, or
right.
Something at least. But yeah, if this channel goes dark suddenly, absolutely break out the panic baskets.
Yep.
Have a panic picnic. Everything's on fire, but we'll be back. It usually takes a couple minutes for the modem to figure its shit out.
Recycle itself.
Yeah, that's how it do. Welcome back, by the way, Justin.
Thank you.
I know you missed us.
It's nice to be back. Funny thing is, it's like I'm still out of town. Amanda has fully commandeered my fucking desktop. So I'm still playing on her laptop. Like, I got home, and Amanda had told me that she had to play on my desktop because her iPad died.
It's only fair. Yeah.
So she's playing Hearthstone. She's doing all these heroic single player stuff in Hearthstone. And she was like, "Yeah, I had to use your PC today." And this was like on my way home. Like, I called her at the airport, or was talking to her at the airport.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Yeah, I have to use your PC because my iPad died. I'm charging it." I'm like, "Okay." And then I get home. This is like 5 hours later, and I get home and the only light on in the house. By the way, it's pitch black. The only light on is my bedroom, or is the game room. Right. And I walk in there, and she's in there, like, exiting the game, like, as I'm coming in, right?
I wasn't doing anything.
Right. So I was like, okay. Well, I was like, yeah, you can just use my computer. I'll just keep using your laptop, whatever. It's no big issue. So me and her played some Hearthstone or whatever. I've been playing War Thunder on her laptop. And then it's going on 5 days. 5 days, I don't really use my computer much anymore these days. So, yeah, she's commandeered it for the time being.
Yep.
I think... she's probably hinting that she wants a desktop.
I mean, this means that you need a his and hers side by side.
Yes, I think so.
It's only fair.
I think that's how it's gonna have to happen. So
yeah. I'm sure you've seen pictures of that setup.
Actually, we talked about we pretty much want that exact setup. So because me and her can't stand to play games in separate rooms,
yeah.
Which is it's a bad thing because if she's in the other room, I'm like, well, I kind of want we don't even fucking talk to each other. That's the bad thing. We just
Just in the zone.
We just like to be next to each other while playing. It's just a comfort.
It's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, we talk to each other every now and then, every 2 days or something. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, D-Man's playing Skyrim. Good choice.
What's up, D-Man? And what's up, Mystic Soul?
Good to see you both.
Also, Sean, Mystic Soul. I noticed you got another fucking donation today. I got a nice little text message. So you were still hammering in the donations for fucking Extra Life.
Oh, that is
awesome. He said that he's going to continue to try to make his goal by whenever the cutoff is.
A man after my own heart. You're a good man.
He fucking truly is. Well, he kind of got the shitty end of the stick. He was telling me that he had router issues during the stream, right? So the day of, router shits out on him.
Yep.
He goes and gets another router. That router shits.
Ah!
So he's like, okay... So he just broadcasted our channel, and then so he hit his goal. He just
nice, even better. Congratulations,
fucking
dude.
Awesome, man.
That is awesome.
Congrats. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling when you hit the goal. So it was a great feeling last year because you and Amanda last year were fucking going buck wild with that number, man. And I kept getting the notifications on my phone. I was like, freaking.
I cannot take credit. I think Amanda earned over twice as much as I did.
She was going ham. I didn't see how much she earned this year. I forgot to take a look, but I was
that's a good question,
I'm sure she fucking...
Put us all to shame.
Yeah, put us all to shame again,
like a bunch of scrubs that we are.
Amanda, man, she's the... By the way, two different Amandas. So my fiance's named Amanda, this is another Amanda, but she's fucking so goddamn good at Team Fortress.
It's just not even fair.
It's sickening.
If she wasn't such a nice person, I would just hate the shit out of her.
I remember telling Amanda, I was like, okay, I'm very good at Team Fortress 2. I was like, I was in my prime at that time too, because I was just coming off of playing Team Fortress 2 at the time.
Just coming off, it's like a drug.
It was like a drug. So, and I was like, I'm fairly sure I'm the best person among my friends, or equal talent, And I was like, she blew me away. She didn't blow me away, but she blew me fucking away with that shit. So.
Oh yeah, it's humbling.
She was sickening. Especially a soldier. She was fucking gross.
That's just how some people are, man. They have like that game where like you try as much as you can't fucking beat them. Too real.
So
too fucking real.
But I hope she hit her goal. I hope she.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure she did.
I'm sure she did.
So.
Extra Life was awesome, and yeah, kudos to you,
Extra
Sean.
Life was great. Yeah.
That's super awesome.
Thanks, Sean, for being fucking awesome.
Yes.
Because those flyers and stuff obviously worked, and
Yeah.
whatever else you did, I'm not even sure what you did. I don't know if you fucking took off your clothes and danced for people. I don't know what, but it worked.
Giving them an extra life.
That's right.
Yeah, that's seriously awesome. And I know we mentioned it last time, but I'm part of a local guild of sorts that goes to local events to try to encourage people to sign up for the events and for Extra Life, to sign up to participate and do the fundraising thing. If it's something you think you might be interested in, I mean, I can tell already, you'd be a valuable asset to the guild. So if you want to help us out and try to recruit, then
totally do it.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, no pressure.
No pressure, totally.
And the same goes to Justin, who's kind of busy sometimes.
Right.
It's like he's planning a wedding or something, What a
God, we
screw
really
up.
need to get on that. I mean, me and Amanda have been slacking with that lately, and it's gonna be fucking come back.
It's gonna be here before you know it. Yeah.
We were talking about the other day. We're like, we should probably start really planning now. And I was like, yeah, we really should.
Anyway, video games, and I understand. Yeah, it's important. Priorities. It's all about priorities. But all good things. All good things are. But yeah. Sean, don't hesitate to either hit myself or Justin up if it's something you think you might be interested in. We're kind of in a downturn right now. We're using the month of November to more or less recover. But December and on, we're going to start having meetings again, and monthly meetings, and start attending events. So it's the Extra Life 2016 hype train begins fairly soon, my friends. Choo-choo, motherfucker.
So we're going to officially start now with what we do every week, and it's the weekly wrap-up of what we've been doing.
With our lives.
Yes. I'm going to find a title for this segment eventually.
A little banner.
Yeah, and I'm just going to hit a button, and it's going to pop up for like a half second, though. So it's going to be like that thing from Fight Club. Like you don't know if you saw it, but it was there.
Yeah, it totally was there, yeah.
So, so what have you been doing anything? Well, you've probably been playing Secret World. I think I saw.
Been playing a bit, yeah. Yeah, been playing a bit. There was... Well, the Secret World has been really good about this kind of stuff, but they'll have seasonal content available. And every Halloween, they go pretty buck wild with adding some nice and spoopy stuff for people who enjoy the freaky deaky stuff.
Yes.
And this year was actually kind of nice since this was my first Halloween playing the Secret World. They added new Halloween stuff, but then they also brought back all the previous year's Halloween stuff. So there were some quests that were only available on certain Halloweens. They brought those back and being available if you had not done them prior. So I was able to get mostly caught up in going through all that seasonal content. Some of it was better than others, but there was one in particular. I think my buddy Corey described it as like what is this quest? All they're doing is putting us through the most terrifying parts of the game in like bite-sized chunks, and that's exactly what it was. It was really effective, and like it was like so the basic premise in the Secret World is that you are this ultra mega, well, not this ultra mega badass, but you acquire powers that, depending on how you use them, give you like certain offensive abilities and stuff like that. But at the minimum, you are immortal. Granted, you can still like lose your health and drop dead, but then you'll regenerate at a spawn point or whatever. So like the end game. Yeah, that's like the lore behind why you just keep coming back to life every time something murders your face off.
Well, at least they have a story for that.
Yeah. And this one particular quest begins where a secret worlder has successfully committed suicide and like stayed dead, like they've hung themselves, and it's really fucking weird. And you're like, and the whole quest is about finding partly why they did it, but also how they did it and what the events leading up to it. It was fucking disturbing. I mean, granted, the topic of suicide, of course, in a video game is already kind of like, but yeah, this one did so in ways that I was honestly not expecting, and it was
really.
I mean, leave it to the Secret World to like throw you through a loop when it comes to really cool story writing and stuff like this. It was really well done. There's one point in particular where, and I'm not really spoiling anything by saying this. Actually, I think I will not say it. There are. I'll just leave it by saying there were several points where You would be introduced to this scenario, and without any context of like the overall story, it's kind of freaky. Within the context of the story, it's like, oh my god, this is fucking terrifying. And there were lots of things that went over my head because I haven't played through all the side stories. My friends who have were like saying, "Holy shit, the significance of what we just saw is a little staggering." And you know, me being the scrub that I am, I haven't played through all of it yet.
Right.
So yeah, good stuff. Secret World was good. What else have I played? I actually haven't played a whole lot of stuff lately. After Extra Life, played a little bit more of Risk of Rain. That was one of the main games I
saw
played.
that.
Yeah, and I actually beat it for the first time. I never
What
even
is
got
Risk
close.
of Rain?
It's one of those. I think the official term is a roguelite. Played golf with a wolf's head. Nice, D-man. The term is probably a roguelite. It's one of those games that's profoundly difficult. The odds are always stacked against you. You're going to die a million, thousand, bajillion times. And everything is random. The level layout and the enemy spawns and the item drops. And there are different types of characters in Risk of Rain, each with different specialties and abilities and stuff like that.
Okay.
And a lot of it comes down to partly based on like acquiring knowledge about what items are good for certain scenarios and certain characters. Other times it's just dumb luck about the item drops. And I managed to I was using the Engineer, which D-Man knows is probably my favorite class in that game. And just looked out with item drops, and so to give you perspective, I'd never gotten even halfway through the 5th area in the game. There's 8 total. And the first time that I did was this one particular run, and it was enough momentum to carry me all the way to the end to fight the final boss and everything. And it's one of those games where once you kind of cross a certain threshold of badassery, where you acquire all these items.
Okay.
And all these items let you do more damage and recover health so quickly that your rate of acquiring additional items can like exponentially increases.
Yeah.
So that by the end of it, there's an achievement for you unlock a new character when you acquire 30 items for the first time, which is quite a feat. It usually, like in the first couple levels, you'd be lucky if you got more than 5 items. Mm-hmm. By the end of the game, I had 77 items.
Oh my god!
Which I thought was a lot, but my buddy Corey was like, "Yeah, he actually has not beaten the game yet, but he said that he got to the final boss once in the triple digits. He had over 100 items, and I was just like, oh my god!" So it's ridiculous, and that's part of the fun and I described it to D-Man as like, you kind of hit this nexus. Or a breaking point where it's like your character enters the singularity, where you reach that point of not quite untouchableness, because if you're not careful you can still get your ass kicked.
Right.
But the point of you're like fucking Neo, like suddenly the world kind of opens up and you can suddenly just point your hand at something and it just evaporates in a pool of numbers, and then monsters take its place, but suddenly it's like, ooh, I'm one-shotting stuff. And this feels really fucking good, and now the game is a different level of challenge, or a different type of challenging.
I get that.
So it's really fucking cool. It's becoming one of my favorite games.
You were saying a roguelike game, that the first ever roguelike game, I should say, or quick-paced roguelike game, was Rogue Legacy for me.
Ooh, yes.
Which was something I picked up recently.
Man.
It wasn't too long ago. It was only a few months back. And Neo,
I'm addicted to that, dude. That and to the wet gambles. To the wet gambles. I'm actually not too sure what you mean. I know there's like the item roulettes where you have to.
That's probably what he's probably.
Yeah, throw money at something and get back a hopefully good item. Sometimes you have a preview, sometimes you don't. But yeah, Rogue Legacy.
But I know what you mean by like the exponential growth, because there would be a time in Rogue Legacy where, the way Rogue Legacy I guess really works is that, I mean, you level up pretty much every time you die. You can go back and level up your characters. Mm-hmm. But there's a point where you get a character like I should bring up like the Lich. There's a character in the game called the Lich. Which have you played Rogue Legacy?
No.
So there's a character called the Lich, and basically when you kill an enemy, you get their health.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
And there becomes a point when you do so well with the Lich that you are fucking unstoppable.
You just have so many numbers.
Like, you are just... Oh my god, absolutely.
I get it. I get it. It took me a sec.
D-Man, do not even make these fucking jokes today.
It took me a sec.
Jesus.
Justin's got his coffee, so...
Right.
So yeah, but I have no source of caffeine at the moment.
Right.
That's my excuse.
Poor Alex.
Poor Alex. But yeah, Rogue Legacy, I know that's a game that I want to try out.
The bad thing is, I have Rogue Legacy on PS4 and my Vita, so it's crossplay.
Yeah.
The other bad thing is, I stopped paying for PS Plus, which gave me all the free games. Come to find out, PS Plus all the games they gave you, they only work if you keep resuming PS Plus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's something that I found out. And what's up, 419146?
Interesting screen name.
Oh, 4191146. And not too much, man. How's it going?
That beard, though, ew, gross.
Holds up a can of Mountain Dew. Oh, God. You're drinking Mountain Dew, D-Man? You need to switch.
Mount and Doomy.
Ooh.
Are you a part of ISIS? I mean, I've never. I mean, Justin's never, or anyone else has seen me and ISIS in the same room together. So
No.
I'm just saying.
Sorry. Now, if you're talking about Archer ISIS,
yes,
I mean,
yeah, absolutely,
absolutely.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, they're not. They're done being called ISIS.
It's shocking, right? It's
right.
almost like an acronym.
When the fuck is the new season coming out?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question.
Because that shit happened last year, and they said they were switching other stuff. Did they have to go back and fucking re-record? Or?
I hope not.
I hope not either.
Yeah.
So, is he a terrorist or pubic hipster?
A pubic hipster.
Oh.
I'm a pubic terrorist, actually. It's a little bit of both.
So.
And then we got SWP and oh man, Pray for Paris. Oh, jeez. All right, so this is when stuff starts to happen.
Yeah,
here.
that's when it's going. There's one, and there's no, he's fine. Yeah. Did you change the title? No.
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 All right, that's it
All
for
right,
now.
that's fine.
That's it for now.
Okay,
right.
yeah, he
Yep.
too. Yep. Sorry, guys. We're on a roll here. Okay.
Nope. One more.
Wait, one more. Yep. Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay, he's back. All right, back to
well.
normal, gentlemen.
All as well.
So, yeah. Is that it?
Yep.
So you had the roguelike game, so Risk for Rain, which is something I need to desperately look into because it sounds fucking awesome.
It's pretty fucking good.
Because I just got super addicted to roguelikes. I mean, it was fucking never ending.
Yep.
Like, I remember Amanda being like, "Are you still playing this game?" And I'm like, I can't stop. Like, she's like, "How many times have you died?" I was like, hundreds. Like, my fucking character list was like, because every time in Rogue Legacy you die, they technically, it's like, it's a lineage. So they die, legacy, and it's, their legacy lives on in the next person. So
you get to see.
You get to see the amount of fucking people that I've went through, and I was just like just scrolling over. She's like, "Oh my god."
Path of like, just the lineage of not failures, but
right.
Oh yeah, good times.
So. Yeah. What I've been doing for the past week is lots of War Thunder. So War Thunder is pretty much my go-to game right now.
I'm shocked.
That bad boy is just fucking taking over my life. But I enjoy it. It's a game that's that oddly is free and very good, which is something that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
So I think the only other game really right now that's free and super enjoyable is probably Hearthstone. So
nice.
Well, for me, I'm sure there's multiple other free games out there that are fun. Like Dirty Bomb and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I kind of hit the paywall, but not really. I can still work for stuff. But basically, I'm going back to the other nations and just working on their plans and stuff. But my friend Brad got his joystick, and he made me jealous. I want a joystick now.
It's probably a fancy one.
It is a fancy one, so I'd have to think of the name of it, but I think it's a HOTAS, HOTAS. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone. Amanda and I have been beating the heroic bosses in Hearthstone, which the heroic bosses are the single player, but in heroic, they're fucking super powerful, and you have to have really good decks to beat them. And they're typically like specialized decks. Is everything okay?
Yep. No, I'm looking at the thing. It's like, I'm a little bit off kilter there. So I'm trying to get closer to this thing. So it's there. There we go. So
there we go. Okay, so Hearthstone. I've been hammering those out. We did great. Amanda's only 50 wins away from getting her golden portrait. She's on hiatus on it right now because she's been doing all these heroic bosses trying to get the card backs. Because the way that Hearthstone works is that these card backs that are available, they're available each month. So there's different card backs each month. And once you earn the card back, it's like a fucking achievement because a lot of the card backs you can never earn again. Oh. So they will never come back. So once you got it, you got it.
You got it for good,
it's just how it is. Yeah. So. I'm trying to think of anything else I've been playing. I'm just basically WoW off and on, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
World of WoW Thunderstone.
Yep. That would be an amazing game. All in one.
Oh, God.
So, but there has been some fucking exciting news in the past week.
There really has.
And Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So the first one is the Steam controller is officially out.
Yes, yeah, as of last week, I think.
As of last week, yeah, the Steam controller was out. I want a Steam controller. I will say that I want one, and it's mainly because I want it to be able to control mouse games. So essentially like real time strategy to a point.
Yeah.
Because a lot of real time strategies require pinpoint accuracy and stuff like that. I'm talking more like Civilization you'd be able to play on the TV, which would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
I'd be able to play first-person shooter up to a point on the TV, but at least enough to play a story game. So, I kind of want it. I want it for the customization too, because the customization is kind of key. What's your thoughts on it so far? Yeah. Have you heard any reviews on it?
I know that there were. I think Destructoid was the one I saw where they gave kind of a preview, like an early thoughts review on it. Like a month or two ago, where what they received was pretty much the final product, maybe minus a couple small tweaks, but it hadn't been out to the general public, so the amount of like customizations, like you had mentioned, were kind of limited. And they were saying like, yeah, it's all right, and it's definitely better, like playing games that are intended for mouse and keyboard input. Is better on this controller than it is for other controllers, but still not quite enough for me to like warrant like this over a mouse and keyboard. Like when I'm playing this first-person shooter or whatever, I'm still kind of wishing I had a mouse and keyboard. Is kind of how they described it. And they went back and revisited the review and said, their thoughts were pretty much the same, although they did say that it's way nicer now that it's out in the general public. The custom configurations that people can put out there for other games. Where if you like this game, then here's a really good input that I like, and thousands of other people like. Now that that's been opened up, it's a lot more enjoyable, according to their review. And they were still kind of like, and since then they'd spent more time with it, they were like, yeah, they're getting more acclimated to it, but still kind of like, I still kind of miss my mouse and keyboard, but it's to a point now where it's viable.
Okay, cool.
And you mentioned the customizations, and to me that's one of the biggest draws. I mean, heck, we talked a couple weeks ago about, I can't remember who it was. I think it was... I can't remember his screen name. If you're in the chat, feel free to give yourself a shout out. But because I think CP Master, I think was his screen name.
It may have been CP Master. Yeah.
We were talking about video gaming, interface alternatives for handicapped individuals.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, the Steam controller has some, due to its customization, means that it opens up that realm where like you can play certain games that maybe somebody only has full use of one hand, no problem, just map all of the really important buttons on that one side and maybe a couple side ones on the other side.
That's awesome.
And that's all you need in some particular cases, and it makes it a little bit more viable for those that might be limited in the use of certain hands or certain parts of their body. So I mean, kudos to Valve for, I don't know if that was the intent all along, but I mean, I think it's an excellent use of it.
It is. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
The customization is exactly what I want for it. I'm really intrigued about, especially playing War Thunder. I think the actual haptic feedback touch, joy, could actually potentially work extremely well in a game like that. Because it technically works as a manual joystick in a sense, where in a typical joystick, it's literally that. Like, you can pinpoint, you can just hold it into an area and the reticule will go there. So I kind of... How much are they?
I think it's $50.
$50? Okay.
Or maybe... No, I'm second guessing myself.
Hold on. I'm going to look it up now.
I was going to say, we have the technology.
We have the technology.
But, no, I do think it seems like a really excellent device. I would like to try one for myself. I mean, probably buy one at some point. But more importantly, I would like to just see how it feels for myself. Just to get a feel for it. I mean, it's an odd design. No matter how you slice it, it's weird when you look at it.
$50. You can buy it from Steam.
Easy peasy. That's not so bad. So I think it's a cool idea.
And they've just updated the firmware too.
Oh, even better. So yeah, I hope it continues to get support, and knowing when it comes to hardware, I'm sure they'll make an enhanced version within a year or two, maybe that maybe is a little bit more precise and whatnot, and maybe even still more customization options. So I see this as definitely a positive. And kudos to Valve for throwing themselves into the controller realm.
I'm glad Valve did that. They did a smart thing, which was try to improve upon something that's kind of being dormant as of late. I mean, PlayStation, you've done great with adding a few extra things to your controller, such as like the top bar that you can slide your finger across. Xbox is pretty much just the Xbox controller. It's the Elite controller. I mean, it's not much different. The grips are a little bit different, and the joysticks are a little bit firmer, so they don't break as easy. But
I've heard it's an improvement.
It is an improvement. It is definitely an improvement. But this kind of Valve did the good thing of being like, oh, well, a bunch of people want to play these games that you require a mouse movement, and it's something that you can't have on a controller type scheme. So they were like, well, why don't we add this in? So thank you. Thanks.
I'm all about it.
Thanks, Valve.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Yeah.
So that was that. So and then the next thing was well, first off, Nintendo kind of had a couple announcements. So the first announcement was that I want to say Wind Waker again. God damn it, Twilight Princess is coming to what is it? Virtual Console?
Wii U.
Oh, Wii U. No, it's being remastered, right?
True, big old remaster.
So remaster. It's coming to Wii U, and we kind of called that a couple months ago.
Oh yeah. So did the rest of the internet.
So did the rest of the internet. Whenever someone said, "Oh, hey, I just saw this on one of the update notes, and it's entitled for Twilight Princess HD."
We all know what
and I was like, oh, well, hopefully that's true.
Yeah.
And come to find out, it is.
Yep.
So
a couple.
Thank you, good man on the internet.
And then they more little hints started to get dropped. More store pages started to have info about this, and it's like, come on, guys, let's just
give it.
Just hit it with us, man.
And they finally fucking did.
They finally fucking did. I'm glad they did.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad.
Yeah. The music that you actually heard at the beginning of the stream was. And I've neglected to mention this earlier. It's actually from a project from a couple years ago called Zelda Reorchestrated. Where for a while it was just a couple of people that originally were just making Zelda remixes and reorchestrations with software like FL Studio and some of these others that have like sequencing with electronic instruments. That particular song that you heard was from an album they did with a full symphony that they hired, full chorus, everything. And shortly thereafter, the website and the organization, I guess just the website disbanded, presumably because they probably ran out of money, because that shit was expensive. But I was able to nab a hard copy of that CD. I think it's called Twilight Reorchestrated. So fucking good. Oh, it's so damn tasty. I love Twilight Princess so much. I was telling Justin, it's probably my second favorite Zelda game. So I mean, any excuse for me to play through it again. Oh man, words cannot describe how excited I am for that. Yeah,
I was telling Alex I've never played I never played Twilight Princess all the way through. I played the beginning of Twilight Princess, and I played it on the Wii, so I played the Wii version and played the GameCube version. But from what I played, I enjoyed. It's just the Wii at the time was kind of like my secondary. Like I didn't even say secondary. It was like my third. It was something that we had at the upstairs television, and I never went in up there and played it. So.
Which is understandable.
So I never actually went in and actually beat the Twilight Princess game, and we were talking about Wind Waker as well, and I've never actually even played Wind Waker, so it's something I'm going to try to catch up on, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to play both on the GameCube emulator that I have. So Dolphin Emulator, by the way. So if you guys want a good GameCube emulator, Dolphin Emulator updates pretty regularly, and when they do, they post it on their subreddit. They actually have a subreddit. Cool. And they give you all the release notes. So
very nice.
They're doing very well for a good project. So.
Good for them. Good for them.
The other one from Nintendo was
the fucking the mic drop.
It was a mic drop, man.
What the fuck even happened?
The funny thing was, okay, before I say what it is, which everybody knows, is I was watching the video, and then I stopped watching the video, and I was like, oh my god! And then you texted me, and was like, did you see the Nintendo thing today? I was like, did you read my fucking mind? Like, I was getting ready to fucking message you, and you messaged me, and I was like, oh my god.
There's just... what was it? Just a few months ago, I was ragging hard on Square Enix, saying that they never give, that they only take when it comes to collaborate. Because they do Kingdom Hearts, but that's made by Square Enix. So it's like, they never give their characters to other companies for stuff like that. They only take from Disney or from others, or these other things to, for just, to have all of themselves. But... boy, am I glad I'm wrong, because holy shit, what a
shit. So Cloud
motherfucking Strife
is going to be the new character in Super Smash Bros.
What a world we live in. One of my buddies said it best, where if he had the option to go back in time and break the news, spoil the news to his
Right.
10-year-old self, his 10-year-old self would not believe it. Like, there's just
No,
no
he'd be
way.
like, no.
Never in a million years.
No, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Time travel's not real. Who the fuck are you?
God, like, it's like, what? Did we travel into the Twilight Zone? Is this like an alternate universe?
Yes.
It's amazing.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And going through his abilities, I mean, they're fucking on point.
Yeah.
I love that. What is that called? Is like a final smash? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
So his final
Still
smash
great.
is fucking Omni Slash.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
God, so fucking tasty.
Yes, and then I saw all of his limit breaks, pretty much all of his limit breaks in there, except for Meteor Rain. I did not see that one, but the Climb Hazard one is the one where he fucking goes up and then he comes down.
Yeah.
God, time travel
So
is
fucking
possible.
excited, yeah.
I hope it is.
We're traveling through time right now.
We technically are.
Just at a steady
At a
rate.
steady pace. We're traveling through the universe right now as
Yeah.
a collective.
It's terrifying.
It is kind of terrifying when you think about it.
Spooky.
We're always moving. So,
Whether you want it or not.
right, I guess that would be the main issue with time travel, is that if you tried to come back to this spot,
You just
you
die.
you would die because
Yeah.
you would be in space.
You'd have to account for all sorts of. Oh god,
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that. That shit would keep me up at night.
But yeah, so thank you Square Enix for
Yeah.
collaborating.
For proving my dumbass wrong.
This kind of makes me believe that with the Nintendo NX coming out, maybe, just maybe,
A little something.
a little something, you might see maybe a Kingdom Hearts franchise being kind of ported over to all three systems. You also might see a good old Final Fantasy being ported over to the NX.
I mean, I wouldn't complain. I would
So-
not complain.
I don't think this is just a coincidence.
Parallel universes. Yeah, I like the Futurama's theory where there's only two parallel universes, ours and the Cowboy universe,
Yes.
where it's
Yep.
just that's it, just those two. I
Amazing.
don't like Cowboy Bender lording over me with his cowboy hat. Yeah, but no, it is an interesting theory, and I do wonder if this could be a potential sign of a new era of Square Enix where they are broadening their horizons.
hope
a little
so.
bit. I would like it.
I don't mind console exclusives because sometimes they bring good stuff,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
but I don't like console exclusives just for the sake of the publisher.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of what it's been for a while for Square Enix, is just
Yeah.
they're on board with the publisher, and now since the publisher is pretty much, they're themselves, like the publisher is themselves, right? Square Enix is their own publisher. And I don't think they have a direct deal with Sony anymore, even though they kind of technically do, but my thing is that they started pushing all this shit to Xbox. Or not Xbox, they started pushing all this shit to PC now.
Yeah.
And then everything's kind of melting over to Xbox, and it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
I think the NX, which I'll get to another topic I put on here later about the NX, but the NX is going to have current up-to-date hardware with the new systems. So I think it's a good call for them. I think it'll be good.
Hopefully, it's a sign of things to come, and yeah, I would not complain one bit if we got some Square Enix games on more consoles, on more platforms. That sounds like an awesome idea. The theory is mind-blowing. Yeah, Futurama is always good for stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Love it.
But the news, I'm still kind of floored by it. One of my buddies was talking about it. I was like, when I got the news, I kind of looked around my apartment. I was like, all right, where's Ashton? I know, like, I don't see the microphones, I don't see the cameras, but where's Ashton? I know I've been punked. Okay, you guys can
He
fess
comes
up.
in here and he knows you by first name.
Yeah, and he's got his shitty trucker's hat or whatever. I don't know, fucking care about Ashton Kutcher, but like, it's just like I don't know. I was in a state of absolute disbelief, and I'm glad I was that thoroughly shocked. And there was a lot of good news in that Nintendo Direct, but man, they saved the best for last. Holy shit.
Yeah.
What do I think about Bitcoins? Now that is an interesting question.
That is an interesting question.
One that hasn't come up in a while.
I like the idea of Bitcoins.
Mhm.
I don't mind the currency at all. It has a good exchange rate. It's used for anything. You can use it to buy pretty much anything these days. Well, anything digitally, I should say.
Yeah.
And I was into Dogecoin for quite some time. I still have my Dogecoin wallet at home. I have my Dogecoin shirt. Dogecoin's kind of fallen off the chain. I mean, it's kind of
surprisingly.
it's gone its way. I mean, we even had a fucking NASCAR Dogecoin. So I mean, we made it fucking far.
That's pretty good, all things considered.
Dogecoin was a good thing, and I did Dogecoin mining, and I did all that stuff kind of behind the scenes, whatever. I didn't do it with Bitcoin. A lot of people did do it with Bitcoin. A lot of my friends did a bunch of things, a bunch of mining with Bitcoin, and they made a lot of money off of it. I know one of my friends was able to pay off the majority of his student loan with cashing in on his Bitcoin.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, so you can get your Bitcoins on your regular MasterCard. See,
you can.
So it's a good currency, and it's a stable currency now. So I'm all for it. I'm all for Bitcoin. I like digital currency. I don't really see a big issue with it. All the exchanges go through a pretty rigorous test or rigorous background check and all this info for you to actually exchange and for you to transfer it to your bank account. So it's pretty stable.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't realize that it was stable. I had naively assumed that it was still unreliable as it was several months ago, or I guess a year. Over
a year ago is when they had the big crash.
Yeah, crashes.
Yeah, there's multiple crashes. They've built themselves back up, and they're a sturdy platform right now. So.
Well, good for them. That's all. I just assumed that they were. Still
there's always highs and lows. Obviously, the exchange rate changes every single day. So depending on how many blocks have been mined and whatnot. Yeah. So, which mining and Bitcoin mining in general, or digital coin mining in general, is a fucking.
Dexter, with the camera. Okay, see you later.
Whoa.
It's
a task. Like, it's weird to think about. So for digital currency, when a computer is mining, so they call it mining. But what you're doing is you're using your computer to do you're using your computer to do technical equations for a cost.
Yep.
That's it. And when you think of people don't think of it that way. People think they're literally mining something, but you're not.
Chipping away. Yeah.
Right. You're not chipping away anything. You're literally using your computer to do mathematical equations.
Yeah.
Which in turn they give you money for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's fucking hilarious how that works.
It's pretty impressive, and those equations are no small matter. These are equations that people build entire rigs around that are all linked together that maybe churn out a couple Bitcoins a week. It's no laughing matter. It requires some pretty good computation.
Yeah,
power.
I Dogecoin mined, but I only did it with my single video card, and I didn't overheat, I didn't overclock or anything because I didn't want to risk my shit. Yeah. I didn't mine much a day. I mined a total of 20 cents a day. It was nothing in particular, but it was enough for me to give people tips and stuff on the internet.
Why not?
So that was the fun part about it. Was here's 20 Doge, here you go, which was fucking 2 cents. So
it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel about digital currency.
No, that's a good way to put it. I've been out of the currency loop and the just payment processing in general loop for a while now, so I hadn't really been paying attention to it. So I don't really have any input on it. The only time I was paying attention to it was when it was making headlines. I'm sure that's how a lot of people are. I'm sure it's fallen out of the public consciousness for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's more a behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
So.
Which I think is fitting, given the nature of the currency.
Have I played Space Engineers? Yes.
Spingineers.
Spingineers.
Yeah.
I have played a piss ton of it.
Yes, you have.
So me and Brad did a lot of work in that game. We put in a full day's effort, every day, to make. And we didn't get very far. We got far. We didn't get as far as we could have. People spend years making space stations and making ships, building them out. So I recommend Space Engineers. If you want to get into it, do it. You need to get on a server, find a server on there, find someone who has a server, and get in there and start making some shit, man. But it's fun. That is such...
You will get sucked in.
You will get sucked in very quickly. It's very intricate.
It is. It's impressive, really, what they're able to do. Is it still in early access?
It is still in early access.
So it's still going, too, which is terrifying. There's already a lot to the game.
There is a lot to the game. They just updated it recently. I was telling you a few weeks ago that they updated the physics to where you can take off your helmet when you go in a spaceship now. And
I didn't know that.
You have to, though. That's the thing. So you must take off your helmet because I think your battery discharges when you're on the inside. So if you want to recharge, you have to take off your helmet. Well, the thing is, if your hull gets breached and you have your airlocks open, your fucking thing gets sucked and your guy's he starts dying really quickly. So it's
realistic.
It's good.
Yeah,
I recommend it definitely. So it's fun. You would have a lot of fun with it.
I'm excited for Medieval Engineers as well.
I am. They have making slow ass progress on the game, but I'm ready for that fucking game.
I'm excited.
So, let's see here. I forgot to tell you, we're over 125 topics now that we've covered.
Nice. Triple digits, baby.
We are in the triple digits.
We're in it to
win it. So as of today, we're over 125 topics.
we get excited about things. There's things to talk about.
That's awesome. So, Those are topics we've covered, I should say.
Oh, so there's even more.
No. Those are topics we've already covered.
Yeah.
The topics that we have currently on the list are like 20, so
Yeah.
we're pretty good.
Yeah.
We've been knocking them out pretty well. One thing you put on here, we were talking about the Nintendo NX, and I kind of wanted to bring up real quick is that Nintendo NX and what Nintendo, I can't remember that fucking website. It's a Nintendo website that not run by Nintendo. It's a fan site.
Yeah.
Basically, they're saying that they think that Nintendo NX is going to have an issue because there's not a lot of third-party people that are working for making Nintendo games right now. And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it, on how you feel about it.
I mean, I think they're right. I think it's an uphill battle for them. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of, and when you think about it from a publisher standpoint, of course they they have to throw money at developers and say, all right, make a thing. And ideally, as a developer, you want to make your applications, or in this case, your games, fairly compatible and fairly there's a word for it. I guess just compatible, just in a sense where you can, without hopefully too much effort and not too much rework, port it from one platform to another. It's just a good thing to do. Just a good coding practice. And I get the impression, I don't know a whole lot about the exact intricacies, but I get the impression that to go from PS4 to Xbox One, it takes some elbow grease, but you can get it done without too much trouble. The specs are notably different, but still
similar architecture.
Yes, but similar enough where, again, I mean, we've seen shittily done ports, so don't get me wrong in thinking that porting is easy, but it's easier than to like hugely upscale or downscale a game to fit, to go from PS4 to mobile, or PS4 to Vita, I think would be a good, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I think that's probably tricky.
You would have to down res and everything. It would,
yeah, and I mean obviously the PSV. I mean, of course, there's the cross-platform thing that PlayStation does offer, but it's doing all that computation. When in that particular case, if you're playing a PS4 game on the Vita, it's still doing all the hardcore processing on the PS4 side of things. It's just streaming to the Vita, which is a cool way of doing it. But again, it's a different type of thing there. So I mean, right now, yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle for Nintendo right now, because with the Wii U, it's vastly underpowered compared to the PS4 or the Xbox One, and definitely to the PC, which is fine for them. And I mean, Nintendo never has any problem about using their own games to really make the hardware sing. But it's an issue for publishers who say like, all right, new Call of Duty game, bing bang boom, PC, Xbox, PS4, you got it. Whoever wants it, blah, just fart it everywhere. But then for the Wii U, it's like, shit, man, we'd have to really downscale this game. We'd have to put a lot of development hours for a game that honestly probably isn't going to sell very well on this particular console, because those types of games aren't usually on that console. So it's a kind of a self-feeding cycle.
Do you think whenever they introduced, or they were making the Wii U, that they only really had their games in mind?
Probably not. I mean, the Wii. Well, yeah, even going as far back as the GameCube, they had issues with trying to get third-party developers on board, third-party publishers as well. With the Wii, I think it got a little bit better for them. In fact, I would argue it probably got significantly better for them versus the GameCube, in that there were a lot of third-party developers developing for the Wii.
But it was still severely underpowered compared to...
Well, yeah. It was, I think to them, they were seeing just a sheer number of third-party developers, which is true, because the Wii was a hugely successful system. It sold so many fucking systems each year. Oh my god, it was crazy. It was selling like hotcakes, and a lot of fairly independent and small developers were putting games on it. And I mean, people use the word shovelware as a term for it. That's something that I've seen a lot with the Wii, especially with the Wii. But still, it was third-party publishers and third-party developers. So I think on Nintendo's eyes, they were probably like, okay, well, we have a lot of third-party developers, so I mean, we can probably. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know a whole lot about the business dealings, but I think from a development standpoint, they probably were gunning more for the PS3, Xbox 360 audience, more so than the PS4, Xbox One model.
Yeah.
Which, of course, years after the fact, when the console actually came out, was poor timing. At least I think it was poor timing, because
it was
PS4,
incredibly
Xbox
poor
One
timing.
was right afterwards.
Not even a year.
Not even a year afterwards. Yeah. So it's so I think they do face an uphill battle right now, because, like I said, with the current cycle that's kind of feeding itself, like I described earlier, I think it is challenging to get third-party developers on board, at least for developers that are making a game for these platforms over here, to convince them to make make an additional version for this one little platform over here, I think that jump is too costly to justify in a lot of cases. But in all fairness, Nintendo has been attacking the indie market a little bit harder this time around versus the Wii, where they just kind of let it do its own thing. This time they're actually going out of the way to showcase indie games and try to encourage indie developers to make not just their game, but to make games specifically for the Wii U.
Okay.
Not just a version that's on the PC and blah, 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 but to actually say, ooh, look, this is a viable platform, look at all the things you can do with it.
Right.
During the Nintendo Direct, they gave a shout-out to a couple of indie games that are in development right now for the Wii U. One of which I'm always so excited whenever I get to talk about it, whenever I see anything about this game, is being developed so the game is called Hive Jump, and it's being developed by, actually, I guess the name of, the name of the developer actually escapes me. I would have to look it up, but the name of the game is called Hive Jump, and the development team is fairly small. One of the artists is a really good friend of mine from high school, and the game is being developed in St. Louis.
Graphite Labs.
Graphite Labs, that's right. So it's cool. Of course, it's cool to see a little local indie developer appearing in a Nintendo Direct, but also from St. Louis and with some of the developers that I know personally. So it's like,
So
it's so
it was
cool.
a Kickstarter.
Yes, it was a Kickstarter game. It was successfully kickstarted.
Kickstarted.
I was a proud backer. Whenever I see Ben, I'm always super excited to tell them about, like, oh yeah, I tried out the latest build of the game. It's doing great, and they've been really good about making their rounds in the local conventions. So it's a really cool game. But I see that as an example. But to see Nintendo give them a direct shout out in the Nintendo Direct was like, oh man, that's so damn cool. So it seems like they're trying to embrace the indie market a little bit better. And when it comes to EA and Activision and Blizzard and Square Enix and whatnot, I mean, I think for Nintendo it's probably an uphill battle. And if I had to guess, they're probably pumping money into trying to orchestrate business deals and whatnot behind the scenes that we're not privy to. So, I mean, how successful that's going to be, only time will tell, honestly. In the Wii U's case, I know it was a hit against them when I don't think it supports the Unreal Engine as an example, and a lot of games rely on that.
Yes.
Same, I'm fairly certain with like the Source Engine and some of these other ones. So for some games, that's already kind of a deal breaker. So we won't know probably until we have more details about the NX and what it's going to be capable of doing, but that might help bridge that gap. If I had to guess, this next generation is probably going to be better for them, the way that the Wii U has been better for them in that sense. But
well, they're in the 10-year now.
They
are.
Like,
consoles last for 10 years. That's the projected timeline of these two consoles. Of the console, I mean Xbox One and PS4 are 10 years. So if they can get a console in within the next year, which is apparently pretty plausible according to a bunch of sources.
Perhaps.
So if they can get it in within the next year or a year and a half, they would be pretty well off.
We'll see what happens.
If they have up-to-date technology, I should say.
Yeah.
So if their video processor, is all up to date. So.
Yeah. It's certainly possible. But my view is that it's still going to be an uphill battle for them, and they'll probably still be fairly short on third-party developers. Yeah. But it'll probably be better than what it currently is. So, just got to close that gap, man. Yep. That's how it do. I mean, PS2 and on, they really stole the show in a lot of ways. They really established themselves, and I think Nintendo didn't take them seriously enough as a competitor until it was far too late. So this is This is how you learn. This is how we learn our lessons.
And this is competition, and this is why competition is good.
It's a very good thing. Yeah. So to a Nintendo fanboy like myself, I will readily admit how glad I am that there is that competition.
Yep. So you stated that there's going to be an Extra Life stream team.
Yes.
What is that? What's going on?
Well, not only is it a thing that's going to happen, it is a thing that does exist. So of course, I mean, poor D-Man, poor everyone else who's tunes in all the time. You get to hear me yammer about Extra Life. Now it's the greatest goddamn thing ever, and now you should throw all of your money at it. Of course, I'm kidding. But so it's an organization that I work with, and it's one of my favorite things to be involved in. The Extra Life Gaming Marathon and Game Day is one of my highlights of each year. Game Day was a couple weeks ago. It was on November 7th. It was rootin' tootin' good time. I'm still kind of recovering, sleep deprivation-wise, for being up 24 hours, but we're getting there. But one of the things that they've wanted to do this year is to try to keep that momentum going. Of course, there's all this marketing campaign that goes to trying to get people to sign up and participate either on Game Day or some other day of their choosing to do a gaming marathon to try and raise money for Children's Miracle Network. And it's a year-round effort to try to get people to sign up, try to encourage that participation. And ideal and the end of the day, try to raise money for sick kids in these hospitals, which of course is a noble cause and does all these great things about it. But I think the leadership, the Extra Life national leadership, was. Gosh, Alex, boring about Extra Life. For once, I'm boring good about Extra Life. But I think the national team that runs the organization was like, we do all this effort to try and raise all this awareness and try and get all this momentum behind game day. Well, who says it has to evaporate there? Let's try to see if we can keep some of that going. So they came up with the idea of the stream team, where Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the next at least couple weeks, they would have streamers on Twitch have 2-hour slots that they apply for, where you get to stream on the official Extra Life Twitch channel. Extra Life has their own Twitch channel, much like we all have our own individual ones, but it's Extra Life for Kids, if you want to check it out. It starts Thursday. It goes Thursday evening, I think from 5 till I think 1 a.m. Friday also 5 to 1 a.m. and then Saturday all day, Sunday just about all day. As the idea, as it implies based on what I mentioned, it encourages streamers to apply for a 2-hour time slot where you stream on the official Extra Life channel. Of course, get some exposure to your own channel, but ideally they request that the people who apply be fairly well versed on Extra Life and what it's about, how the organization is run, what their campaign, what their fundraising goals are,
and who's a better person than Alex,
and how to sign up if they want to, or people who can answer questions about Extra Life, but also be entertaining and be friendly to chat members and people who are viewing the chat and want to participate that way. And you can keep it family friendly, and because since this is an organization that's all around helping sick kids, there's probably going to be kids watching. So games that are ideally T or lower on the rating scale, and streamers that aren't super vulgar, at least if they can help it. And I applied for a slot on Sunday, and I got it. So I stream on the Extra Life 4 Kids channel every Sunday for the next few weeks from 2 to 4 Central Time, 3 to 5 if you're Eastern. And I did it. I actually did it the day after Extra Life. Because it was on Sunday. I got home that morning. I think I got home at about 9 o'clock. Went to bed at 10. Woke up at 1. Splashed water in my face and streamed for 2 hours.
Oh my god.
And of course that was an easy one to talk to people about because
it's fresh.
It's because it's fresh in everyone's mind, and of course I can joke, who's awake, while I'm streaming it. I try to whenever
Alex was saying this while his eyes were closed.
Yeah.
Who's awake?
Ideally when you're doing the streaming for the Extra Life channel, you're of course talking about the game you're playing, but you're talking about Extra Life as well, and just kind of keeping a casual conversation going. Being that I've done Let's Plays for many years, I'm kind of used to just finding a topic and just trying to keep on topic and try to talk about it, much like we do here. But yeah, it was something that I was really excited about to apply for, and was really grateful to the leadership team for giving me the opportunity to be on the stream team for at least the next few weeks. They've got it set out where I think it goes until the end of November, and maybe the first week of December is like the schedule that they have laid out. After that, I have no idea what the general plan is. If I had to guess, they'll probably keep the stream team going and maybe refresh it so that a new batch of people can apply for it.
That would be awesome.
So if anyone who's watching is at least somewhat familiar with Extra Life, has participated at least 1 year in the past, and would consider themselves a comfortable streamer and would like to participate, head on down to the Extra Life website, and you go to their community page. I'll post a link later in the chat if you're interested, but it should be fairly easy to find the Extra Life community page, and you would go to the message boards and see there's information about the Extra Life stream team. So it's pretty exciting. I'm really happy to be a part of it, and it's a pretty good time. So the first week when it happened, I played a Risk of Rain for 2 hours. Last week I played Octodad, or a couple days ago that is, I played Octodad.
Are you gonna be this Sunday as well?
Doing it this Sunday.
I'll be watching.
Yeah. So.
And what's up, Harlequin Mayhem?
Hey, thanks for joining.
And yes, Triforce Lamp Hype. We always like to separate ourselves between the Holy Triforce. I think I gotta get my
there you go. Yeah.
Lower. There we go. So, and thanks for joining. Unfortunately, you're catching us right on the end. So
we got a few minutes left.
We got a few minutes left, but we'll be back every week. So every Tuesday we're back here. So if you wanna go ahead and follow us or whatever, it'll automatically remind you. So when we come live next time. So please join us. Let's go over one more thing here.
Yeah, we got time for one more.
We got time for another topic here.
One more topic. Yep.
Oh, what the shit? Okay, we're getting
the
there.
shit?
We're getting there. Okay, so one last thing, which is pretty cool, and I kind of want to talk about, was the VR for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah.
And it's like a virtual reality table.
Uh-huh.
So, okay. I took a look at it today.
Yeah.
And I was pretty interested about it. Because it's kind of nice for people that live long distances. Like, it's not really for your core members of, like, people being close. Yeah. It's for you to be over distance. Now, there's already a Dungeons and Dragons that you can play online. Yeah. But it's a tabletop online, but it's not face to face. Like, you can't really see the person. You know, it's not like that. You know, you can do it over fucking you can do it over like Skype or something. But
yeah, exactly.
I think this will be kind of revolutionary, and especially because I was talking to Adam today.
Yeah.
And I posted the question to him of being like, how do you feel about it? And he said, I would like it. He says, I would like it, but virtual reality is fucking expensive.
It is.
Granted, it is. And then I messaged him and I said, Google goggles. Like, if someone wanted to play this game, it doesn't necessarily require a full Oculus Rift.
Right,
you don't really need that full experience to experience the game. And I was like, so I sent him the link and I was like, it's between $9 and $20 depending on what model you want. There's a lot of Google Glass models. There's plastic ones with like giant lenses. You know, like, you can get a very good set of goggles. And I was like, $9 and $20. And he's like, that seems incredibly reasonable. And he's like, yeah, I would totally be up for it. Like, because the virtual space I saw in the video just looked awesome. Like, that looks so fucking cool. And imagine the customization you can have for that. You know, like, I can only imagine being like, say, a dungeon master, and you set up that virtual space depending on what your scenario is. You know, like, how fucking awesome is that? So cool. And yeah, VR is incredibly expensive. So
absolutely. Yeah, and it will be for a while, but we'll get there.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I think the Google Glass thing, I think, is a pretty good step forward as far as bringing it to you. It's not necessarily
Google goggles.
Google goggles, yeah.
Gaggles.
Googles. Google goggles. Yeah, sorry. It's a very good step forward. Yeah. So it obviously uses your smartphone. Yeah. So it's not perfect in any way. It just uses your smartphone's gyroscope. Yeah. But it gets the job done.
It does, especially for something like this where there's not frantic movement. You're not like playing a game where you're like it's not a first-person shooter or anything like that. It's something a little bit more sustained, a little bit more chill, a little bit more Netflix and chill.
Yeah. Lots of Netflix and chill. You can do lots of that with with Google goggles. Yeah. You can do a lot of Netflix and chill. See, what you do is you both get into this virtual reality space, and then you have the virtual reality space play a movie, and then you just
and then 18 plus shows up on the chat on the Twitch window.
Fucking hilarious.
But yeah, I think it's a really cool option. I was excited when I saw that Wizards of the Coast has officially backed this as a platform. I mean, it's one thing if it's a little indie, small, individual dealio where only a couple people are VR and chill. 20 minutes in a VR and chill, and he gives you this look, and it's just the Oculus, like you can't see the face, but yeah. But no, to see Wizards of the Coast is behind it, and to see there's some big names that are interested, to me it's like, well shit, man, now it has legs. Now this actually could take us somewhere. And you're absolutely right. You mentioned that there are applications that exist that already let you play Dungeons and Dragons or other tabletop games remotely. And in fact, Adam, we were in a campaign, I guess about this time last year, with some friends of ours that live on the East Coast, and it worked pretty well. We used an application called Fantasy Grounds.
Okay.
That it's not free, but it's still fairly cheap, and it works across lots of different games. We were playing Pathfinder on it. And it does a lot of cool things for you, and it does automate a lot of the number crunching, a lot of things along those lines, which is cool. But it's just like you said, the lack of person-to-person interactions is one of the main draws, at least for me, for Dungeons and Dragons. So removing the in-person interaction is kind of a bummer, and that's just from the player's perspective. From the Dungeon Master's perspective, there is a shit ton of additional work that you have to do when it comes to running a campaign using one of these applications. Because one of the biggest things about Dungeons and Dragons, especially from the Dungeon Master's perspective, is that it's, I would argue, I guess it depends on how you do it, but it's roughly half preparation, half improv. Because you could prepare so many things and so many quests for the team to do, and they just walk right by that NPC who gives you that quest, and they would be none the wiser because depending on how you laid it up, maybe you didn't prompt them to talk to this person that, or they didn't visit the right temple, or they missed this person because they had already embarked on that other adventure, and they weren't there to give you that quest. And there's so many things where, okay, well, that potential side path didn't get visited, so let me just, these 20 papers of preparation I have go out the well, hopefully don't go out the window. You can you can repurpose them. But what I'm getting at is that there's no guarantee that your party's going to do what you think it's going to do, and a good DM will not railroad a party and say you have to go down this path, because that's too restrictive. And one of the best things about Dungeons and Dragons is, say it with me, Harlequin, the improv. Is being able to, the Dungeon Master at least, to be able to think on the fly and to come up with NPCs and encounters and interactions and entire quests on the drop of a hat without having to spend days preparing.
Yep.
Whereas with Fantasy Grounds, you are kind of restricted on what you have written out, what you have prepared, because it's one thing to just come up with something on your head and just throw it at the party, but when you're using an application where creating monsters is a matter of right-clicking the thing, saying new monster, that could take you up to at least a half an hour to put an encounter together.
Yep.
And it's no fun to say to the guys, all right, so I'm gonna make an encounter for you guys real quick. Just wait for 45 minutes while I do this. I know we only have 2 hours to play,
right.
So I'm just gonna do this, and you guys just fuck around for a bit. So it induces a lot more work on the Dungeon Master side of things. Hopefully something like this, however, will make it a little bit easier, at least on the displaying end, make it a little bit more intuitive, and hopefully for the players as well. But ideally, it would introduce some new tools for the Dungeon Master to utilize. Yep. So I'm on board with it. I hope it goes places. Like I said, the fact that it has some big names behind it gives me some hope. So, and who knows, maybe one of these days we'll actually successfully rope this guy into joining us one of these days.
One of these days.
One of these days.
He will, eventually. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. I'm with you, D, man. I've never DM'd before, and I have zero
Improv
interest.
is hard for me, but I can make some good scenarios.
Yeah, which is cool.
The scenarios might not be... Well, I guess I could transform them into to Dungeons and Dragons scenarios, but they're good.
Yeah. It's a lot of work being a DM, and it's work that often goes... it's often a thankless job being a DM. So
right.
Shouts to Dungeon Masters everywhere for creating awesome worlds for us to play in. It's good shit.
And going back up to Sean, he said, "Hey, you need to check out Penumbra, Breath of Life." Now
Penumbra or Penuma?
Wait, Penuma.
Because Penumbra is not a puzzle game, but if it's and I've never heard of Penuma.
Oh, maybe I'm just thinking of the wrong game. Well, anyways, I'm thinking of Penumbra.
That fucking terrifying.
Which is a terrifying game. It's kind of a puzzle if you really think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more like a Myst style.
Yeah.
So I will have to look into if that's not what you're talking about. I'll have to look into that. But
Life, yeah.
I know that the Penumbra series has multiple adventures. So I know they're multiple games. But I was going to say Amnesia kind of spawns off of Penumbra.
Yes.
You wanted to play a very challenging. It's not really challenging. If you want to play a very mentally challenging game, such as one that will fucking terrify you and question your existence, I would say play Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Yep.
Don't play Amnesia: Machine for Pigs. It's not made by the same people.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same value. Play a Dark Descent by yourself in a room, pitch black.
And descend into madness.
Spoopy. But anyways, I think that wraps it up. Unless you got some more to say, Alex?
No, I think that's a good note to end it on.
I think that is a good note to end on.
We're good.
So, thanks for everybody for joining, and be sure to check out Alex this Sunday on the Extra Life's official stream channel. So,
and tacos for everyone.
Yes, and tacos for everyone.
Tacos for all. Taco Tuesday.
What was this? Armorcoin? Is that what his name is? Armorcoin.
An armor suit made out entirely of coins.
That actually might work. It'd be like scale mail.
That'd be awesome.
That would be cool. So he's actually providing.
Amnesia, yeah. Good call.
Good. Yeah. Pass on pigs. Go for insomnia.
Go for insomnia.
Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So thanks all, and we'll see you all next week.
Yep.
We're gonna leave you with some music here.
More Twilight Princess music, baby.
Indeed. So thanks all.
Boop. And boop. And boop.